Welcome back to Project Brupeg. We're restoring the sunken fishing trawler here in Australia. We're a couple of Kiwis who are amateurs. We're learning as we go and we're doing with an amazing community worldwide. We're building it into a global expedition and research boat. We're installing a new galley in Brupeg, and while Ian and Damien get on with the plinths and putting the cupboards in, of course, this is a boat, we're now having to build a wood event. Dan will explain.
We're still in the galley and we're still getting stuck into the kitchen rebuild. So obviously the next thing that we need to do on the plinths is get up on the foredeck of the boat and weld in a stainless vent. The vent either allows air in or closes it off by spinning this lid. There's a rubber gasket underneath. It's part of the kitchen rebuild, so we need to run a pipe from our water tank down the bottom here, and it follows up through this channel we cut in the polystyrene, and that's the bottom of the vent there. What we're going to build is pretty simple. There's the deck. We're going to build a pipe that comes up through the deck, and on this side here we'll have theirs up there. On this side we'll have a hose tail welded on, that guy there, straight pipe that comes up, and then we're going to, this is a side view of the pipe if that makes sense, cut in half. We're going to weld a nut onto a piece of strap, so here's the end of the pipe. We're going to weld a strap across it like that, a hole in the middle and a nut, so that piece sits like that, and the pipe actually comes up to the edge here, up to that level there, so that you end up with a completely flat surface on the top. And then I'm going to make a lid that is just a bigger piece of pipe, goes over top of the whole thing with a stainless, so it'll be, there we go, like that, so you can understand that a bit. It's going to have this top lid part will be solid stainless, so probably 6mm, something like that. And then on the center here we weld a piece of threaded rod, just comes down, goes through that nut there, thread, and then you only have to, this screws all the way down so that that surface there touches that surface there, and you have a rubber gasket on it to seal it all off. Then when you want to crack it off, you just undo it. You only have to undo it half a dozen turns, and it's sort of still, even when it's in its open position, sits down like this. Like so, and you can see the air can come in here like this, up like that, around and down into the tank like that, or vice versa. When you're filling it, it'll expel from here. But what it does is it gives you a lot of protection, because you've got this pipe hanging down over the side, so if water has to try and get in there, if you're going through the sea and you have to have this vent open, the water physically has to go all the way up here and then back down in order to get in your tank. It can do it, but it just makes it a lot harder for it to get in, much better than just having an open hole of some sort. So that's what we're going to make today. Parts list today includes a piece of smaller heavy wall stainless pipe. This is going to become the upright for our vents. A piece of larger diameter heavy wall stainless pipe, that's going to become the lids, so we'll cut sort of sections of that, that'll become the lid. This here is a piece of 5mm stainless plate that used to be an old deck hatch on Brupeg. We'll cut out some circles, weld them on top of this bar here, and that will become like a sealed up solid unit. Now we need to do a thread to adjust these up and down. I don't have a lathe, so we've got some solid 16mm stainless bar. I'm going to put that in the battery drill and then hand file a thread. If you haven't seen that done before, that's pretty exciting. Alright, that's not entirely true. We're actually just going to use threaded rod because it's significantly easier than hand filing a thread. There's some dirty words, and one of them is used to be commercial and used to be a fishing boat. And apparently that's
We were just talking about you.
A mother's club meeting, is it?
Yeah. Your ears burning? We're talking boats, of course.
That would have been a short conversation talking about me.
What's the wind looking like? Any chance of sailing this weekend?
Oh, I forgot to look.
Did you? Oh!
I reckon it must be alright, so...
Do you? You're going to go, close your eyes and go?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Good. Give it a go and find out.
Get out there in the water. I suppose you're feeling that way too.
Well, yes, but I haven't had to be as patient as you.
You don't know how long you've got to wait yet, you're not in the water. If we're still here in 5 years, saying, how soon? How soon?
Oh, God, no.
No, he's declared it's 1 week.
A week to 2 at the most.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Which one are you on?
Don't listen to Trev.
I was making my
I mean, that's pretty accurate doing it like that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, that'd be fine.
And that can't be all bad. Things came up, things went down, maybe turn back around. My spider sense screaming that I'm mad. A big storm blew up.
Mike, that from the other side.
In my coffee cup, carried me far, far away. And that's why I couldn't make it today.
I bet it stings.
No. Huh?
Does it sting when you put that on after you've done the...
A little.
There does come a point when the bug stuff doesn't work. They just get bite anyway. You're getting it to that point.
And then after they finish, the moths back up.
It's 12 hours of footage is a big job and complete, so you usually lots of cameras. 7 seems to be about the average.
So you take 7 of raw.
Get down to about 25.
Wow.
Sometimes it ends up 45, but try not to go over that. We had a friend, Ryan, help through that year so I can do part of the editing.
Yeah.
But he ended up deciding that he wanted to do a real arty thing, and we didn't want to do an arty thing, we wanted more real. And
Yeah.
So we parted ways, and so I learned over a week. He just got thrown in the deep end, so I learned.
You learned the fucking crash course and how do you create a bloody hour-long movie every week.
But I kind of knew that it was kind of revving up that way. I just started paying attention, so I watched how he edited and how he cut and stuff like that. So just osmosis.
She's one of those people that can kind of see something and just pick it up without really training in it.
I have a slight eidetic memory, so I've got a different memory, so I can, when I see it, I kind of hold it. So I put it, sort of strung it all together. And David is just savvy that way. He's just a millennial, really. He's verging on millennial. So I'm 50 and he's 37, so he's in that age group where he's used to it.
Yeah.
So he kind of trouble shoots everything on the video.
I got 2 awesome glands though.
What?
I've got 2 awesome glands.
Well, I'm also a bit of a writer, so I like the story, so I can create the story.
Yep.
And that was part of what was an issue with Brian as well. He was focusing on the shots and the kind of ironic stuff and not coding the story characters. But I've got to be really careful because a lot of our audience is boat and engineering types, and too much character ruins it for them. So, but then the ones that really love watching the storyline and us and our relationship,
Yeah.
they get a bit bored with too much. So I've got to balance all the time.
Oh, you put music into it as well.
Yeah, I do music score right through pretty much.
Wow.
Have a look on YouTube.
Yeah, you're on the next one.
With the plasma, I'm going to cut these circles out. This is what we started on the drill press. We don't have enough horsepower to go all the way through easily with that drill press. Just doesn't have the grunt. So we've scored top and bottom. You can sort of see we've gone in a mil or 2, top and bottom. And now we're going to plasma it because we know we've got a nice neat edge that'll weld up beautiful. Here's something we didn't anticipate. Do it this way.
Cool, babe. That looks awesome. Do you need to check right angles, or you?
I will. I'll just tack it so it holds it and then I'll straighten it up. It's really important when you're cutting wood with a hole saw that's designed for metal is make sure you're doing it in a drill press that's going far too slow so that you can essentially melt the wood into the teeth. By poking the threaded rod through the bench, I can screw the lid on nice and square and then weld right down the centre, and it doesn't warp and go off on a funny angle if I do it this way.
I know one thing for sure, I've never been so close before. It's one way or the other, no way in between. I ain't getting any younger. You was there.
By welding these right down the centre makes it nice and square. I had to give them a couple of taps just to get them absolutely perfect, and perfectly square matters. This part gets welded on top here like that, slides down the middle there, and if this is off centre, it's going to be off centre and it won't seal up properly. It's going to wobble as we screw it up, so we just need to take a bit of time and make sure that we get it right. What I want to do now is weld the inside to get it nice and strong around this here.
It was never built to last. Or you just fall in and out of love. Or you just fall in and out of love. Or you just fall in and out of love. Oh, you just fall.
We're getting there. What I need to do now is fill up this centre area, so just in here, got no weld in there, I need to fill that up, and I also need to start welding around the edge. So like I've done here, this is one I did earlier, I need to go through and get it to this stage, buff it off like I've done with this, and make sure there's no pinholes. Because this is a water tank, we need to make sure there's no mould or anything can grow in sort of in easy areas. And then once that's done, we can flip it over onto the lid itself and start putting a nice bead right the way around that join between the lid and that tube on the side. This bit's actually the easy bit. I like welding when it's like this. So a couple of tacks. The earth clamp that I have is on its last legs. The viewer very kindly sent us a magnetic earth clamp, but I can't use them when it's stainless. Stainless is non-magnetic. Well, the good stainless anyway.
Some throw it on the fire.
3 tiny little tacks. Right, now we need to get this over on its side. That's not going to buckle or bend or anything now, that's going to be pretty strong. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. So now what I need to do is essentially lay it over on its side so that I can get a nice bead around the edge of that join between the pipe and the lid that we've just made. So bolt on, earth on, and then line it up ready to weld. I think we will probably call that about done. It's pretty warm. Probably should have remembered that. Yeah, that'll grind up lovely. Right, next one. There we go, a couple of lids in their resplendent glory. So they're nice and true now, well, true enough, and they're polished up, cleaned, all the corners are radiused off so we can't cut ourselves if we bump into these walking up and down the deck. Yeah, I'm happy with those, they came out great. So I'm not tidying up my bench, but I want to show you, I absolutely went to town on the earth clamp. Look at this, got an upgrade. Quite literally, we just went to town and we picked it up. The reason I'm showing you the Who's Your Daddy earth clamp is because we're going to be welding on the bench. We are going to be welding that. In order to get these bits to bolt into this piece, the 400mm long piece of stainless, I need to basically put a threaded insert of some sort up this end. So that's what that nut is going to be. I could have made it simpler by just having 2 bars, nut in the middle and a bar on either side, but I wasn't 100% certain that it wasn't going to twist over its lifetime. So I thought if I put the 3 in, pretty much going to knock that problem out. So I have just tacked this little guy together, and thankfully I wasn't recording at the time because that's how a YouTube channel works. But you can see that's gone blue, so I've got a little bit of argon has disappeared. I haven't got my shielding quite right. But what I've done is tack them in. Now I'm going to go around and just dab in some rod, but I'm going to turn the heat right down because the heat's quite high. I think it's 160 amps at the moment. I wanted it high so I can just go blip and melt it and get them to stick, so that then I don't nuke the threads. I'm going to back the heat right off now and weld that around. Right, you can cool down. Let's make another one.
Got a chipped end on it, I don't know if that's going to fuck it.
Now because stainless is a pain in the neck, I'm just going to clean this thread up. Whenever you heat stainless, it starts to warp and move and do all sorts of funny stuff. So if you can, give it a razz up. I know that amount of grunting and carrying on kind of look ridiculous, but it's so that you can do that. Right, you have seen me build Liddy McLid face. Now I'm going to build the Sticky McSticky out of the deck face. So I'll show you what I'm doing to get this to mate to the pipe that goes through the boat. Pipe. This here has to go down and sit over top like that, and that's going to be our vent system. Now in order to get that to go into there, we will take the little 3-piece thing that we welded to a nut onto a piece of this threaded rod. I'm going to use the full length of that threaded rod. What I'm going to do, slide that down there, and then I can roughly get the bottom centre, roughly get the top centre, and then I know that the nut is perpendicular. If we just mark off that, I'm going to grind down, this is 8mm rod, I'm going to grind down 8mm and sit it in flush. Actually no, we can go further than that. No, we won't, we'll go flush. No, we'll go further than that. I'll take things a little bit too far. That's how we roll. All right, so let's go down, let's measure this precisely. Let's go down to there. Right, there's our depth. We need to figure out our 3 doodaceries. That's about centered. So one there, Okay, right, a little doodacky threaded into the threaded rod. Slide that down there, figure out which way it goes. There we go. Done. Now, we can jiggle the bottom to get it basically lined up perfect, and then we know that this thread is perpendicular. So when we screw our lids on, that there needs to be adjusted to be perfectly straight, but that should screw right down true if we do it like that. So what I need to do, so that there's no guesswork, is make a little jig for this end. Need a wire brush. By wire brush, I mean tiny dishwashing brush. Done! This is the bit that I don't know if it's going to work. Holy crap, it worked. No one expected that. So here's my plan stand. I've got our little doodacky that I made. I'm thinking put it in the end of the pipe like that. In this case with the 1/2 inch right the way down it. Let's just fit it in there now for you. Ah, of course you're going to turn, aren't you? Alright, we need to do this a wee bit faster. Like so. Thread that into the nut, like that. There you have it. Held down, centralised at this end. So you can sort of see that centralised there. The bung thing in there holding that end centralised. We TIG that up like that. We know that we're going to be pretty much bang on. We can screw our lid down and we're good to go. Now we do have, if I show you this up real close, here we go. So you can sort of see these 8mm bar or 8mm rod does hang down a bit lower than the surface of this metal here. But what I'm going to do is weld it all in and then I'm going to skim it down flat. So I will put a blob of weld on the top, but that's all going to be skimmed off and I think that's going to work out alright. So stainless, when you're TIG welding it, it doesn't really like heat that much if you're going to go slow. It doesn't like heat. So time and amps are kind of, they go hand in hand. You can crank your amps right up if you weld fast, and if you're going to muck around, crank the amps right back down because you'll overheat the stainless. The trouble is that you're actually better off to have higher amps and go fast than you are to go the other way around, because you'll overheat the stainless if you go low amps slow. If you go high amps fast, you actually spend less time on any one point of weld. Even though it's hotter, you spend less time on it, therefore you don't overheat the stainless. So this is only 3mm stainless, but I've got my welder almost maxed out. It does 205 amps and I've got it at 173, just to basically tack these in. Yeah, if I was running a weld all the way around this, I probably wouldn't go as high as that, but because I'm only basically tacking, I want it quite hot, quite fast. Done. Central. Let's go and do a bit of a test. That probably needs a tap, it's a wee bit tight. In fact, let's be pedantic and put a tap down there. Looking pretty good. The lid's bent, but that's because I bent it. But I can straighten that. Alright, I think we're going to go with this. There we have it. Exactly what I was after. Right, let's have a go at that. That's a bit straighter, look at that.
Yeah.
That's
So
better.
lovely, isn't it?
Why don't you just go off a little off centre, just so that it's hitting on one side and on the other.
You got a long shaft, so if there's any discrepancy,
Yeah,
You know that's the right height? Yeah.
a lot of movement there.
we're going forward and back. Why are we going forward and back?
It can't be that out that much on the top, can it?
No, but
A square cut,
it's rocking, so it has to be the shaft. It can't be anything else that would make that happen. But I don't think we're going to get it any better than that. But what I'm thinking is if I can buzz that, and then I'll get my flapper, and I can get right in that edge and flapper that down spot on. So if you can do a consistent speed, I can do that. Try it, just play around and see what we can get to work. Go faster because it'll accentuate the problems. It's still doing the forward and back, but I think I can counteract that. Like if I'm grinding like that, so we've got rotation that way, it's going the wrong way. Stop. Try it now. Right, so now it's going the right way to machine it properly. I think we can counteract it, it's alright. I think it'll be right. And if it doesn't, we'll try something else. Yeah?
It's not doing it back and forth.
No, that's bloody good. What are you doing?
Perfect. It's angles.
Don't change a thing. Still gonna go more. Tiny bit more. Jess is modelling the latest in pocket lathes. The 18-volt AG lathe is available in one size, fits nothing really. Product link in the description below. No, you got it, it's fine. Look at this. Look at the machining capabilities of the AG 18-volt desk lathe. This is amazing.
My hand is cramping up, so let me know when I can stop.
I don't want to cramp your style. You can stop now.
Just the right moment. This is. It was slightly off centre from the circle, from the round, but not too far over. Yeah, it held it just perfect.
I think it worked.
And that needed to go up slightly. That's all.
I think it worked. It's coming right.
Ah, beautiful.
That'll seal fine.
Jeez, that's good, Dane.
We might have to do a little bit of hand file to get the edge in there, but the rest of it's fine.
Diddums.
Yeah, no.
So what, you're putting a rubber flap on there or something? Or?
On the inside of that. Think of it like a big rubber.
Oh, big
rubber washer. Yeah. Right, so let's get that off. And let's see if it actually works. Oh, you know what? I need to polish the outside. I'll just assemble the desk lathe again.
Wow.
one little air vent.
Trev will be very pleased with that.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's for someone that doesn't have a lathe, that's fine.
It feels really nice.
Yeah, I want to polish this now, so can I have my lathe driver back? Now that we've got that end sorted, we need to sort this end. Pretty straightforward. We need to be able to put a hose onto it. So we're going to use a normal threaded hose tail for the right size to fit just inside this pipe. We're just going to TIG weld that on. There we have it. One pipe welded up, both ends sorted. Put a lid on, because we're going to throw this through the deck now. So, 11 mil, 12 mil. This is a piece of 3 mil nitrile rubber. It's the same stuff that we use for our fuel tanks and water tanks and things like that. So it's fuel safe. It's pretty awesome stuff. But we are using it as a gasket to seal these vents. It's important when doing this to find the smallest hammer that you have on the boat. Scissors on Brupeg have a higher trading value than gold or silver or myrrh. Here's Trevi. So when you can't find any workshop scissors and you steal your partner's scissors, just be prepared to face the music.
I thought buying inside scissors with flowers on them would deter him, but no luck.
Roger. I mean, maybe I should have made these longer. Yo! Okay, up in 2. Done. Waterproof, able to be connected onto a pipe. In a former career known by his rap name of T-rev, Trev transitioned into a life as an international man of mystery. Up on the side deck of Brupeg, that's our stainless vent, and the window in the kitchen that the galley that we've just fitted. This here is what we need to replace. So that it sort of sticks up, and basically it's difficult to put a mark around it. So what we do, get a piece of tube, draw around that. And the reason we're going to cut a larger hole out is we'll then cut a piece of stainless that'll sort of fit that hole. We can drill a nice neat circle in there, TIG weld the vent to the stainless circle, and then we can just flat TIG the flat circle to the deck. Sounds a bit complicated, but it's a much easier way of dealing with the whole situation.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark from so far away and show us where we are? What makes the sun go to sleep every night, and what's it dreaming of? I wonder. How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights. Why does the rain always keep on pouring down when it's grey outside? It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder.
So we've taken the old vent out and it's left quite a messy hole. Show you up here. So now what we've got to do is get that closer to round. It just makes welding in the new plate so much easier.
So you can sort of see the raw hole just butchered out of it in order to get that bloody pipe out of the way. And then we put a slightly bigger circle over top, and Jess is just going to go around now. Without the obstruction, it's much easier to get an easier, like, lovely circular cut.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder.
So that's what we're left with. It's pretty round. It's not as round as a hole saw, but it's round for what we need. We can fill it up with weld. The plan now is to cut a stainless circle the same size as that hole in the deck, and also cut a hole in the stainless circle for the vent. We'll weld the vent to the stainless circle, and then we'll weld the stainless circle to the boat.
It really makes me wonder. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Oh, I wonder. Oh, I just wonder. It really makes me wonder. Yeah, I wonder.
So I'm thinking, like, pop it over on the side like that.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
That'll do.
Right, it's done.
Walking home late at night. Maybe
After all this, the parts list includes one slightly not round with a hole in it. Piece of pipe that goes through. At the top of the pipe, we've got ourselves a nice, nifty little water vent.
if I'm wrong, 'cause it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time.
Let's give this a go. The winds are blowing this way, so I'm hoping behind my little wind shelter thing that I can actually TIG without the gas disappearing.
I think about you and I want you here with me. Am I out of my mind, or is this how it should be? You made me sing about love, so just tell me if I'm wrong, but it feels like love. Yeah, it feels like love. Yeah. Don't know what you do, but you make me feel fine. And you can't deny we are not just killing time. You should let me know if you want this true. Baby, you just make me feel crazy. A little crazy.
Done. The other thing too, with the wind down where we are, the bug situation's not so bad.
Yeah.
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 You don't get this still evenings where it just fills up with mozzies or.
Yeah.
They chase you around.
Yeah. That's my favourite.
Yeah.
You got ice like summer sky.
Your ears burning?
Now it starts to rain, so let's enjoy it. I can't believe that this is real. And the
Yeah, you just he'd cheer something or
real, you make me
was so awesome.
It was. That's one of the best expressions I've heard for a long time. Fingers crossed.
Which one are you on?